Hello everyone, welcome to your EduTap, and today is the 10th lecture of the NABARD Grade A 2021 series, that is for ARD static, right? And before starting everything, I just want to clarify one thing, that the plant mineral nutrition, it is chapter number 8. In that particular lecture I said it is 7, so 7 is soil and water conservation. Actually I read comments in that somebody was asking for the link of chapter 8, so that plant mineral nutrition is chapter number 8, although I said chapter number 7, and 7 is that soil and water conservation. Okay, so I hope that is clear. And today's lecture number 10, that is the important MCQs on irrigation management. So before starting this, to our new audience, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can also join our Telegram channel, where you can get all the free study material related to your examination, including the PDF of this particular lecture. This is our EduTap Hall of Fame, in which we are very proud to inform that out of 69 people who were in the final merit list of NABARD Grade A 2020, 65 were EduTapians, and currently we are offering 40% off on all our courses. So to avail this offer, you have to use the code INDIA, and it is valid till 16th of August 2021. So let's start with question number 1, and it says northeast seasonal rainfall occur in the month of. Okay, so this particular chapter, it is about irrigation management, right? So what is irrigation? When we artificially supply water into the field for agriculture purpose, so that thing is known as what? That thing is known as agriculture. Okay, basically our India, it is a rain-fed agriculture. Rain-fed means most of the farmers, they are dependent on rainfall for their purpose, agriculture. So it is not like that only that monsoon period that we generally know, that is around July, that is the only time when rainfall it occurs in India. No, there are various times or various months in which rainfall occur, and in this particular question you have to guess that northeast seasonal rainfall is in which month. Okay, so the correct answer to this is option number 4, that is October to December. Now what happened, see, as you can see in the picture also in this particular slide, there are different months in which rainfall occur, and we have categorized them with given some particular months or the season in which they occur. Okay, for example, in this winter we have January to February. This particular winter seasonal rainfall, it occurs during the period of January to February. In summer we have in March to May, and then Kharif season, that is the 70% of rainfall that occurs during this particular time. So when we say monsoon season has arrived, we say so because maximum amount of rainfall it occurs during that time period, and that is why we say so. Okay, otherwise there are many months in which rainfall occur, as you can see here also. Okay, so this is southwest monsoon, that is during the Kharif season, and this is between June to September. And next, last one, it is the northeast monsoon, that is our Rabi seasonal rainfall. And in this particular Rabi season, that this particular northeast monsoon season, this time this Tamil Nadu, it receives 60% of the rainfall. Okay, so maximum rainfall occurs in Tamil Nadu during this Rabi seasonal rainfall, and this particular, it takes place from October to December. Okay, so these are the different time zones, months in which the rainfall occur. Okay, so I hope this particular question is clear to you all. And to this, why this southwest monsoon name is given or northeast monsoon name is given, it is because of from the side the particular trade wind is coming, or you can say in simple language, the wind is coming from which side, or which would later turn into monsoon. Okay, so the direction are mentioned, and that is why this is southwest monsoon and the northeast monsoon. Okay, now question number 2 says the form of irrigation which is used for growing trees in orchard is. If we are studying about irrigation management, so basically we have to provide irrigation in such a manner in which the water is also conserved, and the plant or trees or whatever we are growing, they also get the optimum. Optimum means the right amount of water required by it. So there are different techniques, and this particular technique, it is followed in orchards. So orchards are basically area where trees are grown, right? So one of the following is the correct answer, and that is answer number 2, which is our ring basin irrigation. Okay, so see how we're gonna do this. This check basin irrigation and rig basin irrigation, all these are types of basin irrigation. Okay, if we go for different methods in which we can manage the irrigation facility, it can go in 3 ways, or you can say irrigation, it can be given in 3 ways. One is surface irrigation, one is subsurface irrigation, and last one can be categorized as pressurized irrigation. Okay, so both this basin irrigation and flood irrigation, they are part of surface irrigation. Okay, so we'll cover in some question, we'll cover the rest of the categories. Okay, for now we have to focus on surface irrigation. Okay, so there are, as I said, two type of surface irrigation. One is flood irrigation and other is basin irrigation, right? So what is flood irrigation? Flood irrigation is when you discharge the water into the field without any control. Right, as you can see in the picture also, the whole field, it is filled with water. So it is basically done in the level land, and usually well, in India mostly this is followed because it is less labor intensive, right? And for example, in rice crop also you can do so. You can also go for check basin irrigation, but that is a different thing. But in flood irrigation, it is like a flood has come, the whole field, it is now filled with water, not as forcefully as a real flood would destroy the field. But yes, the concept is that is why it is known as what? This is known as flood irrigation. Next comes basin irrigation, which are further divided into check basin irrigation and ring basin irrigation. So in basin irrigation, what is done? Basically the bunds are formed. Okay, as you can see in the picture also, these are known as bunds. If you don't know, this upper portion that has been, this increased portion or heighted portion that has been made. Okay, so these bunds, they are formed. Then the basic procedure that happened in this particular system, water would be discharged in this area. Okay, so when water would be discharged, and in these bunds a particular space would have been provided. Here this particular space has been provided. I have actually overwrote it with marker, so you cannot see. Okay, now what would happen? This water, it would enter this particular section from here, and then water, it would come here. Okay, so in this way, this particular sections, they would be filled with water. That this is known as what? Check basin irrigation. Okay, next comes the so basically in basin irrigation you form bunds, and in ring basin irrigation, as you can see, this bund, it has been formed. So when you water this particular tree, and this is what was in our question, that in orchard or in tree cases, what kind of basin what kind of irrigation system is followed. Okay, so in this ring basin irrigation, a bund has been formed, then water, now it would be collected to it, and it would, whatever time it takes, it would take it time to percolate deep down into the roots of the tree. Okay, basically in that particular area. So I hope this particular surface irrigation is clear to you all. Okay, now question number 3, it says in border irrigation. So basically now you have to, these are definitions given of different type of irrigation, and you have to select, or you have to tell that which of the following definition is suitable for the border irrigation. Okay, so the correct answer to this particular question is option number 2, that is the land is divided into number of long parallel strips. Okay, we'll go for every definition and then we'll look at if you know it or not. Okay, so the first one says flat areas of land surrounded by low bunds. So basically the area was flat, but then we have made bunds around it, surrounding that area. So what type of irrigation is this? This is the basin irrigation that we have already done in the previous question. Okay, Next says the land is divided into number of long parallel strip. That is our border irrigation. That is our question only. And this is the border irrigation. As you can see, the borders, they are formed and then water is released in this border portion. This is the border irrigation. I hope this particular thing is clear. What is border irrigation? Okay, so the land is divided into number of long parallel strips. So their parallel strips are formed. They are quite long, covering the space that is provided where the crop have to be cultivated. Okay, and do not get confused that how the water would reach to that area where crops are grown, because ultimately when it will go because first of all, this land is not at all barren, right? There is water available beneath the soil, right, or the surface of the soil. So the role of this border irrigation is to fill the water table, or you can say it would definitely it would spread beneath the or in the subsurface of soil, or you can say beneath the surface of soil, in the subsurface portion. Okay, so this particular border irrigation system can also be performed. Okay, next comes, this is quite beneficial, in which there is no standing water required for plants, of which the stems, they are quite sensitive stems that are present at the base. They are quite sensitive to the stagnation of water, where there you can perform this particular type of irrigation. So that is our border irrigation. Okay, next says water is allowed from the channel into the field without much control. So what kind of irrigation was that? This was the flood irrigation. Okay, and lastly, the one which says furrows carry water down the land slope between the crop rows. So this is the furrow irrigation, in which the water, it is discharged directly into the strips that have been spaced for the proper plantation technique, right? So space has been left, and here the water, it comes down. This particular system is known as furrow irrigation. Okay, so question number 4 now says dash are useful when leaching is required to remove salts from the soil profile. So what is leaching? So leaching is basically when the minerals, the water, it is present in soil, right? So when the minerals, they dissolve in water, and water, of course, it would go down due to the effect of gravity, right? So it would move down. So what happens, this water with minerals dissolved in it, it percolates deep down, and then the soil, it becomes deficient of that particular mineral. So that is particular leaching. Now we can use it as a benefit also, because this particular leaching, it can also help to remove the salts from the soil. So if the salts are present in soil, it becomes unfit for the plant to grow. So with this particular technique, irrigation technique, we can leach out the salt from the soil. And you have to guess that in which of the following method, by which of the following method we can do so. Okay, so the correct answer to this is check basin irrigation. Okay, how we'll see. Okay, so basically what happens in check irrigation, in question number 2 we have also seen how the bunds, they are formed. Okay, and then water, it stagnates there, right? If I'll go for first picture to make it more clear, yeah, here you can see the water, it was standing water there, right? So it would give enough time for the salt that is available in the soil to get mixed with water and then to leach out. Okay, so this check irrigation method, it is very beneficial for leaching, okay, to remove salts. And this particular basin, it is quite famous for paddy rice also. For paddy rice, both flood irrigation could also work, and this particular system also work, because in both standing water is required. Okay, and this is also not suitable for wet soil condition around the stem. So these are also, because if a particular plant, it is sensitive to the standing water, so this particular system is not followed in that. If we talk about furrow irrigation, in furrow irrigation, basically the water, it is just discharged on the strips. So the water, it does not stand, it just move along with the direction to which it is given. Because why I am saying here the water does not stand, because in check basin irrigation we have bunds from the sides, from all the sides, so it cannot move ahead. While in furrow irrigation, the water, it can just move ahead, so there is less chances of percolating or we can say leaching. Okay, next comes sprinkle and drip irrigation. We have separate question for this, but for now here this stagnation of water is not done in these two techniques, and that is why it cannot help in leaching. I hope this thing is clear. Okay. And question number 5, now it says dash is the full or partial transfer of responsibility and authority for the governance, management and financing of irrigation system from the government to the WUA. What is WUA? It is the Water User Association. What is a Water User Association? Basically, as the name suggests, was somebody association which is using what? Which is using water. Okay, so what is this system? See, many projects and schemes have been made by the government so that the irrigation, it can reach to the interiors of the village. Okay, as discussed before, India, it is mostly a rain-fed agriculture. Rain-fed agriculture is performed here, but in villages now, because of the advancement of techniques, now we have made many channels, we have made canals, we have made, right, from by which we are providing water to the places where there is not enough water. So Water User Association, we'll go for word by word. What is Water User Association? So it is a group of people or they have made one association in the village who use this irrigation water. Okay, so to have a check that who is getting sufficient water, if everyone is getting sufficient water for their field or not. So a particular association, that is the Water User Association. And the correct answer to this is the first, irrigation management transfer. Do not get confused between 1 and 2. I'll make it clear to you all. Okay, first we'll go for participatory irrigation management, then we'll come to this particular thing. What is participatory irrigation management? Participatory, as the name suggests, participation, voluntary participation, that if you want to be in or not. So participatory irrigation management, in this basically what happens, see, a government, they have made a department who would look after all the irrigation management that has to be done in a village. Okay, now this particular only we cannot depend on government, right? At the basic level, at the root level, if we have to know if the particular water, it is sufficient, it is being sufficient for the crop or a particular farmer or a field or not. So those farmers, they have to be a part of this particular system. They have to be part of this governance, right? So that is the participatory irrigation management. It is nothing but when the people or the farmers, they also participate in this particular irrigation system or society or the unit that is made by the government to have the proper systematic flow of management. Okay, now under this participatory irrigation management is the particular, this particular means participatory irrigation management, then it lead to what? It lead to irrigation management transfer. Transfer of what? Transfer of authority, transfer of power. Okay, so when we talk about this particular definition which said the partial, full or partial responsibility and authority for governance, so then the answer, that is why the answer is not second but first, because when we're talking about transfer of power, then we'll use the term irrigation management transfer. So irrigation management transfer is nothing but whatever would be the status of the farmer in that particular area, the responsibility would be given to that farmer accordingly, and it could be partial responsibility, means half of the responsibility would be given, or it can be full according to whatever status the farmer have. Okay, so this particular we can say this PIM, that is participatory irrigation management, it is the institutional solution for irrigation management problems. Okay, because now we are looking at, we are working at a grassroots root level, and we are also including the farmers in it, and of course they would want the best for themselves, so they would help the government to have this particular system to move smoothly, right? So I hope this particular thing is clear to you all now. Okay, now question number 6, it says which irrigation system is introduced by Israel? So the scientists from all over the world, they are focusing much on having the efficient way of water management, and Israel has also developed a way, and we have adopted, you can say, this particular system from Israel. And the correct answer to this is option number C, that is the drip irrigation. Okay, so we have adopted this from Israel. First we'll go for this word. What is fertigation? Fertigation is nothing but when we provide fertilizer with irrigation. So when we dissolve the fertilizer with water, because we know water, it would be discharged in the field, right? So with that, we will also have this fertilization done of the soil. So when two things are done, when this fertilizer, it is mixed with irrigation, then the term is known as what? Fertigation. Okay, so it can be done in either way. It is not like that there is a specific system or management system to do so. Whenever you will do so, we'll go fertigation when fertilizer applied along with the irrigation. Now comes sprinkle and drip irrigation. This comes under the pressurized system that we have discussed in question number 2, if you remember. Okay, so pressurized system, it can be of two type, that is sprinkle irrigation, and then we have drip irrigation. Okay, so what happens in sprinkle irrigation, more of a kind of situation is made such as the rain, right? So in sprinkle irrigation, the water is provided as the rain is pouring down, and this is an efficient way because in there is hardly any loss of surface runoff. Okay, surface runoff is when water, it leaves the field without even irrigating the field because of the more flow of water and the more quantity of water. So it is this particular, it acts as rain, so water, it in a better way, it pours down deep into the soil. Okay, this is a sprinkle irrigation system, and there are various types of nozzles according to what kind of pressure we want to give to the plants, so everything that is accordingly what kind of pipe we use, and it uses it is very efficient way. It approx 20 to 25% is more efficient than the surface irrigation. Okay, and second is drip irrigation, that is we have adopted from Israel. Okay, and in this drip, what happens, this, as you can see in the picture also, the drop by drop water, it is provided to the roots of the plant. So it is performed in a way where there is already scarcity of water. So in that, we have to be very particular about it. So what we do, we just provide drip by drip to the roots of the plant. So this is what a drip irrigation is. Okay, and question number 7 now it comes, and it says perforated pipe system of sprinkler irrigation is usually designed for relatively low pressure of. Okay, what is perforated? If we go for this word, perforated basically means anything that has holes, and of course for sprinkle irrigation we need holes in pipes, and that is why it would act like a rain, right? So this perforated pipe system, so there should be a pressure that should be provided by it, right? So the pressure that is provided by perforated pipe system of sprinkler irrigation, that is 1 kg per centimeter square. That is, it provide the water, it comes out in this pressure. Now, because if we'll go for more pressure, it could break down the foliage of the plant, right? So now we'll go for some previous year questions. Previous year question 2018 says, in sprinkle irrigation, water saving is dash percentage compared to the surface irrigation, and the correct answer to this is 20 to 25% off. Of course, if you're going for more scientific way, we want it to be more efficient in terms of conservation of water, in terms of the growth of the plant, and this particular system, it saves water 20 to 25% of what we provide in a surface irrigation. Question number, this is question from 2019, previous year question, which says, which of the following is the objective of drip irrigation to crops? Okay, and the question answer to this question is D, that is all of the above, because it is reduced deep percolation. What is C? If you're providing water into the soil, right? If we go for deep percolation, if the water, because we are providing more water, the more water you would provide, the more deeper it would go, right? But if the deeper it would go, roots are till here only, The roots of the plant are here only, and water now it has reached to this level. So is this water if of any use? No. So this particular thing, this reduce the deep percolation. So water it is, because there is already scarcity of water in that particular area. That is why we are following drip irrigation. Okay, so we have to maintain that water around the root area only, right? So that is why this particular system, it reduced deep percolation, then reduced surface evaporation, because as in surface irrigation there could be a lot of evaporation, but this is just going just inside the soil surface. It is not you can say it is not available for the evaporation, right? It is not exposed to sun, so that is why there is reduced surface evaporation. Next comes provide water directly to the root zone of crop, because ultimately the plants, they would absorb water from roots, absorb water, yeah, from roots only. So that is why directly provide to the root zone. That is easier for the root, for the plant to absorb. And then for all of the above, because everything, that is the correct answer. So that is all for today. I hope you understood this particular concept well. Okay, and we'll come again with a next topic for the better understanding of this ARD static. Until then, keep study hard, and all the best for your studies. Thank you.